Podcasts on unctv.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC-TV.
Down in New Orleans, you'll often hear the use of the old Cajun word lagniappe. Roughly translated, lagniappe means a little something extra or more than one might expect. That word certainly applies to the service, ambiance, and most of all, the outstanding cooking at the restaurant you're about to visit. Come along as producer Scott Marsh introduces us to Battistella's classic New Orleans and upscale Southern cuisine, and to the award-winning chef for whom the establishment is named.
Grits, gumbo, and etouffee cooking in the kitchen. Hot blues and cool jazz add perfect seasoning to a romantic dinner for two. An ambiance of aged urban elegance illuminates the nearly century-old dining room. Are you smack in the middle of New Orleans, on Bourbon Street perhaps? Nope, you're at the corner of Blunt and East Martin Street in Raleigh's historic city market. But if it's authenticity you're looking for, then Battistella's is the real deal.
It's the authentic restaurant in the Triangle area for food that you know would come from the quarter or from uptown.
I had gumbo, it was outstanding. I'm from the New Orleans area, and quite frankly, it's probably the most authentic Cajun restaurant that I've found.
The man responsible for that authenticity? Brian Battistella himself.
I was born in the 9th Ward, and then I've moved all over the city as a kid, just different places, mid-city. Lived in the French Quarter for a while. My dad had a house on Lake Pontchartrain, so I would go over and spend summers with him. And growing up on Lake Pontchartrain with me crabbing and fishing, being an Italian family, even at the Sunday dinner table, we would always be talking about what's the menu for next week as we were eating this week's menu. And that's the way a lot of New Orleans people are. They're really passionate about food. My first job in New Orleans was at Commander's Palace. I didn't have any formal schooling. Started off at the bottom there, and then worked my way up through the kitchen and worked my way all the way up to sous chef.
After broadening his skills at several other Crescent City restaurants, Brian relocated to the Triangle in 2005, where he quickly established his reputation as a New Orleans chef non-pareil. But it wasn't until Battistella's moved to its present location that Brian found the proper frame for his artistry in the kitchen.
Our space in the city market originally back in the 1920s was an old hotel. It's got a great character to it. Walking in, you see a lot of the old wallpaper that was used in the hotel as well. In the center area, we have old wine bottles recycled into a chandelier. The conversations that happen underneath that are amazing. I think it creates this nice warm glow.
No doubt those conversations center on the food.
The great thing about Brian is because of his training at Commander, so he has the quintessential or the classic training. So when you taste his gumbo, it's exactly what you get in the Garden District.
Ah, Brian's gumbo. Probably no other dish better represents his classic training and singular skill in the art of the roux.
A roux essentially is a mixture of flour and oil, and it's the classic way to thicken all kind of sauces. The medium to dark chocolate roux are ones we use the most here to develop our etouffees and gumbos. It's important for me to have a great cup of gumbo and etouffee, but we do classic New Orleans cuisine and upscale Southern, where we have the classic crawfish remoulade incorporated in an appetizer with the fried green tomatoes. We do our own take on shrimp and grits, which is South Carolina Low Country, but we put our Holy Trinity sauce and that brown roux in it.
Indeed, whether it's the catfish po' boy or the Rare Earth Farms grass-fed ribeye, Battistella's takes pride and care in sourcing locally wherever possible. There are several sourcing boards throughout the restaurant, providing customers a focal point for each day's menu. And of course, that menu includes the proper spirits.
We started out at the bar with the Sazerac, which is just like the Sazerac in New Orleans.
The Sazerac is one of my favorites. It's a fantastic bourbon drink. It's a variation on a brandy or whiskey sour. Arabica or Amber Ale, coming out of Louisiana, is a good favorite of the clientele. We also have one from Kinston, North Carolina. It's coming from Mother Earth. She is a Three Sister Moon IPA. It's got some great hop quality to it, so it's a good contention to some of the spicier dishes that we have on the menu. Kind of creates a little step outside of New Orleans.
If you've never been to Battistella's, but you've been to New Orleans, it's like being in New Orleans when you come here.
You know, in New Orleans, when you go to eat at somebody's restaurant, they are grateful for it. I do spend a lot of time back in the kitchen and try to put out the best, and so much passion goes into every bowl of gumbo that just come in, make yourself at home, and enjoy this deep South hospitality what we got here.
Battistella's classic New Orleans and upscale Southern cuisine is at 200 East Martin Street in downtown Raleigh. They're open Tuesday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sunday brunch from 11 to 3. The bar opens at 4. For more information, give them a call at 919-803-2501 or go online to battistellas.com.
Podcasts on unctv.org are made possible through the financial contributions of viewers like you, who invite you to join them in supporting UNC TV.